Rise and shine, everybody. It's good to see you all here. Happy Sunday. Oh, my goodness. It's kind of dark in here, isn't it? Let me just get this up here. Perfect. Locked in place. What is going on? Welcome to another episode of Reading the EGM magazine. Yeah. Why does this keep doing this? Hold on there. Hold the current volume. And it keeps... Whatever. What's going on, guys? Good to see you all. I see we got the Den, the legend. You are first. It's good to see you, buddy. EGM forever. Indeed. Raj, good to see you. Raj, the Rainmaker, has arrived just in time for our reading. We have the mighty Matt Tracker Rubin, our partner in crime, responsible for exploding so many cars in Los Santos. Sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing, but it's always fun. And of course, we can't have a Sunday without the mighty Mutron here from parts unknown, weighing in at how much ever he weighs. Good to see you, dude. It's afternoon for you, so good afternoon. We have Bat Stan. Good morning, everyone. Bat Stan is here. I liked it when you said Bat Stan is fear. That was cool. I think we should stick to that. Who cares if it's not Halloween anymore? We can pretend. Pretend it's Halloween, right? Matt Noon. Good morning. Hello, Jay. Just dropping in to thank you for the Ninja Gaiden review. Visuals I haven't seen in 35 years. Oh, wow. Really? Dude. Well, that's great. I'm glad I could take you back to that. And glad you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Raj with the J to the A and all that. I love it, buddy. I'm going to put that up on the screen. Thank you for making me feel so welcome. Batstan says, my storage unit got broke into, you guys, so I'm missing a lot of my collectibles. Oh, no. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. That's rough. Places like that have to be insured, no? Don't they have to, like when you sign an agreement for that, don't they have to compensate you if something like that happens? I don't know. I'm just asking. I hope we got an umbrella for the stream today. I do, my friend. You made it rain so hard yesterday in Los Santos that we thought we had to get boats. Time to wake up is here. We had a kid in high school going around breaking into storage units. He got caught. Went back to the scene of the crime to grab corn he forgot to grab. Why is he stealing corn? That's odd. That's a little weird. Steal corn? I don't lie, my friend. It's a lot of fun when we're taking out these cars. Sometimes necessarily, sometimes unnecessary. Hey, now that I got that alien ray gun in Grand Theft Auto, I'm just... Dude, it's so hard to not pull that thing out. Especially considering what it does, and then the fact that you don't need any ammo for it. It just regenerates ammo. Dangerous. We are here doing EGM issue 35 from June of 1992. And I ask you guys, like I do every week, where were you in June 1992? Tell me right now. Let's hear it in the chat. Where were you guys in June 1992? I want to know. I would have been hanging with my first serious girlfriend. It would have been summertime. This would be the summer that we would get A Link to the Past. This would be the summer that we would get Street Fighter II, The World Warrior for the Super Nintendo. Very special time. And as we can see on the cover of this issue, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, which is, of course, Turtles in Time. Back then, I didn't know Turtles in Time was an arcade game. I thought this was just a game made for the Super Nintendo. Later on, down the road, I found out it was, in fact, an arcade game. June 92, Matt says, let's get that up on the screen. Probably trying to get out of working at my dad's store so I could go hang out with my friends. Yes, but you had all those EGMs right in front of you and all the Game Pros and all that. But I get it. James says, "Unholy, do you like I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss?" Yeah, I love Kiss. They're one of my favorite bands. All genres. I hope you liked Unholy. You wanted a heavier one. If you listen to that whole album, Raj Revenge, it's a little heavier. And then in 1997, they came out with a record called Carnival of Souls, which is not the greatest in terms of hit singles, but it's pretty heavy. That was the last record with Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer in the lineup before they put the makeup back on. Huge mistake getting rid of those guys. Well, Eric Singer, of course, is in the band now, but huge mistake getting rid of Bruce. Anyway, enough about the Kiss. The Kiss band. Mutron says, June 92, and I remember being a fresh-faced 14-year-old Mutron. Good times. Ah, my friend. Yeah, I was not so good with the numbers over here. I think I would have been 16, maybe 17, I think. Yeah, it was good, man. The 90s were good. 1992, I've said it a bunch of times, one of my favorite years in my entire life. I just loved it in terms of music, movies, video games. It was just a great time. We have Ryu Hayabusa, and yes, I've started calling him Ryu because I didn't want to get destroyed in my video that I was pronouncing it wrong. So I started calling him Ryu from Ninja Gaiden. Everyone's happy now. He's guarding what? I don't know, but he's here. I'd like to thank all of you that checked out my latest video on Ninja Gaiden, the history of it for the NES. If you haven't, please make sure you do so and let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I would appreciate that. No problem, Raj. Anytime, buddy. Glad you like Kiss. They're awesome. I actually prefer Kiss without the makeup. Anyway, this is not the Kiss show. Bartlett, I could talk about Kiss for years. Years. The super chat meter does not show up when we do the talking head streams because it's a different program that I use. So I'm using StreamYards. And to my knowledge, I don't think they have anything like that. It's still there. It's just hiding. It's just hiding, buddy. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at this cover art. First of all, if you guys remember the box art for Turtles in Time, we're looking at it right now. It's just gorgeous. That old school Konami artwork. Probably some of the best box art in gaming history, even to this date. And I need to really dig in and find the artists' names. My buddy Rob McCallum did a wonderful series a couple years ago called Video Game Box Art. You guys should check it out. But no doubt, I'm sure some of these pieces of beautiful art are featured in that show. Oh, Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate that very much. Yeah, the arcade version it's pretty good, but it's, as you saw, very different. That was kind of the thing. Tecmo wanted to give people bang for their buck, and they wanted to make sure the game wasn't beatable right away. Boy, did they succeed at that with the NES one. And we're coming in with the $2 super chat from Raj the Rainmaker. This coffee is for you, my friend. There's John Lennon saying, cheers, mate. I think that was Australian, but whatever. Thank you, my friend. Much love to you. We got HGC. The rains are coming. Oh, that was Raj's. Sorry, the rains are coming. Suit up, Jay. Appreciate that, dude. HGC says, hot sauce. Good morning, dude, bros. Good morning, my friend. Wonderful to see you once more. Let's crack this baby open. We love the smell of this thing. Oh, my God. Video game smells. Now, I can see you guys making jokes in your brains already, so go ahead, get it out of your system. But there are a few video game smells that I really do enjoy. No, not farting. No, not Dorito dust. I'm talking about new controller smell. Those of you who know. I can't be the only crazy one who, when they open up like an Xbox controller, you smell it. Am I the only crazy one? I love that smell. And I love vintage gaming magazines. Just really vintage magazines or comic books. That kind of antique smell. I'm addicted to it. There you go, Bat Stand. Yeah. New video game cartridge smell when it's out of the box. Yes. So good. Ned, welcome on in, my friend. Good to see you. I upped my Kickstarter on EGM to the top tier where you get a unique one of one cover for the book. They're only doing one for each cover, the editor's edition. Oh, man, that's so awesome. I'm happy for you, buddy. That's great. Very cool. Before of Castlevania, as much of a Super NES maniac that I am, I never played the Super Nintendo Castlevania. Deemed as one of the best in the series. They really upped the gameplay and the control you had over, I think you're Simon in that one. I think. I don't know. Whoever you are, they really upped the control in it. I'm sure you've seen videos of the old limp dangling whip. You seen that? He can like the whip I'm talking about. Okay, the whip. He can take it out and it goes like limp. And I don't know what the purpose is, but you can like move it any way you want. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Woo! Bast Car New, thank you for the sub. Very much appreciated, my friend. If you're here, welcome on into the stream. Marcus, what's up, buddy? I always call people by their screen names, so if I forget, I apologize. It's just more out of I like to keep everyone's safety in mind. Some people don't like to be called by their real names, so if I call you MM, that's why. Good morning, Jay. Hey, this magazine cover was insane. Comic book collections at that time were hand in hand with video game enthusiasm. Do you remember? I do. Yeah, and we talk about Todd McFarlane coming on the scene in terms of him starting his own company, Image, and how my friend Darren and I, the same Darren that I speak about in the Ninja Gaiden video, how we were going buying like 2 or 3 copies of each new Image book, thinking that in 10 years we're going to be able to like retire. I mean, that didn't really happen. It didn't really happen. But maybe someday. I think Spawn 1 is like $30 still. Oh my god, look at this guy. Make dad a software what? Exec? Sega Superstar. Sad thing is this guy was only like probably 25 years old at the time. Who of you out there would want this Sonic jacket? It's totally fine to say that you would, because it's pretty close to the Captain N, except we got the cool S for Sega. Not bad. It's not bad. Look at this from software, etc. You could win a Sega collection, which includes a Genesis, Game Gear, and this ultra cool Sega jacket. It's a $275 value, guys. So maybe you should, get on it. As a father, I can confirm that we still wear Chuck Taylor's. Dude, HGC, right there, buddy. It's the only footwear I have. I have high tops and low tops, and they're always black. Same shoes, not the exact same shoes, but the same style since I was in grade 8. Does it come with a Sonichu version? Oh, God, I hope not. Insert coin. Steve is back in the editor's chair. Something funny happened on my way to the Consumer Electronics Show. Well, Steve, I cannot wait to hear what happened. As all the die-hard EGM readers know by now, the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, is the definitive showcase for everything new in video games. Both good and bad softs receive equal attention in the spotlight of new products at the Consumer Electronics Show, providing gaming editors like myself with unparalleled opportunity to see into the future and test firsthand what promises it holds. It's also a decent place to pay $12 for a piece of pizza in the cafeteria. What? The Consumer Electronics Show in 1992 was charging $12 for a slice of pizza. What would that be today? $30? I mean, that's kind of like what it is at ball games and stuff, isn't it? Anyone can confirm or deny that? Like a beer's like $20 or something crazy like that. But what's more important than the open, bizarre spirit of the show is the ways in which it consistently, year after year, manages to install new faith in the video game industry to those who are lacking, and focus even stronger on attention to those products that are worthy of additional attention. It also provides Electronic Gaming Monthly with a chance to visit the 100+ booths and display areas throughout the convention hall and surrounding hotels to snap the first pictures of the games you'll be playing tomorrow. In short, the CES not only succeeds as a trade show that caters to the movers and shakers of the video game industry that get the hottest titles from computer screens to store shelves, it also provides a unique chance for video game publications to pass on a sneak peek in what's just over the horizon. We got a $2 super chat from Raj the Rainmaker. Once again, it's raining outside. It's raining in the studio. Thank you, Raj. Thank you for keeping our nostalgia fun, Jay. Anytime, but let me give you this message, okay? We have fun with retro games, with retro toys, with nostalgia, but I can't stress this enough. It's important to move forward. So we can celebrate this stuff. We can go back. I have no problem with that. But we got to remember, we got to buy those new games, new toys. If you choose to support, these IPs need to go forward, right? That's my message from today. MM says, hey, where's Willie today? Sending also a special shout out to Den. Willie is at work, so he's without diving too much into it, he's got double duties basically for the month of November. So work comes first, right? That's his like actual job. So he'll be back. And we are actually heading to the Toronto Video Game Expo this coming Saturday. We're going to be joined by our fellow streamer JP as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. So no doubt there will be a video. $12 in 1992 is 26. I was pretty close. Thank you for that, Den. I was pretty close. At any rate, back to the editorial. Something funny happened on my way to this year's show. The organizers at the CES decided to unlock the door, which had since the show's inception kept the public from getting a direct look at the future or what the future had in store for us. The 1992 Consumer Electronics Show will be open to everyone, and everyone will be highly surprised to see just what the CES is all about. This was a smart move. I understood at the beginning the infancy of what gaming is now to only want professional publications and such in, but I thought E3 was the first convention to do this, so it's cool to go back and see that the Consumer Electronics Show was actually the first one to open their doors, and I think it's a smart move. Keeping stuff secret from the public, games that are ready to go or close to ready to go, never made much sense to me. As long as you don't put a release date on it, you're totally safe. Again, shout out to Rockstar, shout out to Nintendo, shout out to Blizzard of the day that would showcase games but not usually say when they were coming out so they wouldn't have a backlash. How much is pizza at the Toronto show? I don't know, dude. I don't even want to know. I guess I'll find out. MM says, can I say a crazy thing here, Jay? I still vividly remember Pizza Hut TV commercials from the time of the EGM magazine, Domino's Pizza 2. Oh, dude, I worked at Pizza Hut in 1999. The year Phantom Menace came out. Yeah. That was a great time because we were giving away those PlayStation demo discs. Do you remember that? I think it was like you would order a family combo pizza and you would get like a PlayStation demo disc. Obviously, it was a limited time thing, but I remember all that stuff. You can search if you want to take that a step further. You can go on the YouTube here and you can search like commercials from whatever year, and there's channels dedicated to just playing unedited commercials, and it's really kind of fun to go back and check out that stuff. Back to the editorial for the game player. It will undoubtedly prove that the ultimate video game. This will be the ultimate video game wonderland. Those lucky enough to attend will be privy to the first information on hot hits like Street Fighter 2, Turtles 4, Batman Returns, and Sonic 2. You'll also see the American version of the Mega CD-ROM drive for the Genesis in action and get special screenings of the Game Boy Game Genie, Sony PlayStation, and new TTI Duo, which is the Turbo Duo game machine. The CES will provide all who attend with the sensation of exactly what it's like to be an editor of a video game magazine. Even though our editors have played many of the biggest titles for months, there will still be many more softs and hardware previews that EGM cameras will have never been exposed before. We're getting a couple super chats in. Guys, thank you so much. Just let me get through this real quick and we'll do shout outs. And for those of you who do attend, you can be assured that EGM will be there on the floor with you. In addition to passing our preview copies of the July edition of EGM to qualified readers, our booth will contain many other special surprises ranging from Street Fighter 2 competition with the Street Fighter 2 arcade game and Street Fighter 2 Super Nintendo carts as prizes to a sneak preview of what is sure to be the hottest video game magazine ever produced. In short, EGM is excited as you are for the Consumer Electronics Show. That's rock and roll. Thank you very much. Raj with the 2. Yes, I did shout that out already. Shout out again to you, buddy. And Matt Rubin with the $5 donation. Heads up, the EGM compendium only has 3 days left to back it, in case yins were still thinking about it. Thank you very much for that, buddy. Thanks for letting us know, and thank you so much for the $5 donation. This sleepyhead just woke up. Hey, buddy, no worries. It's a rainy day here in Ontario. I'm sure it's beautiful and sunny where you are. I don't want to hear about it, all right? God. I don't want to hear about it. The letters to the editor. We got oh my God, look at all the Street Fighter 2 feedback. Well, we're not going to go through all of these, but we're going to go through some. I just want to preview here. April Fools, yeah, okay. We'll do a couple of the Street Fighter ones, and not to discredit that legendary title, but you know what I'm saying. Raj with the $2 super chat again. The Rainmaker. Oh my God, I need a friggin' umbrella, buddy. Please do a Perfect Dark Zero playthrough one day. Oof. That's a big ask, my friend. That's a big ask. Perhaps. That's a rough one. But I will certainly consider it. I know you love Perfect Dark, as I do too. Game's actually not that bad. It's quite underwhelming compared to the 64 original, if you've ever played it. Street Fighter 2 feedback. Okay, this is from Craig Wilson from Fort Lee, New Jersey, and he says, okay, this time you guys have really outdone yourselves. And I'm not just saying this to get into your pants. I mean Mag either. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that you're doing a great job on covering the arcades and reviewing the games that everyone likes. Oh, sure, other mags have the cover of Street Fighter 2 with a couple of pictures, but you guys do a whopping 15 pages on it. How did you get so much information in just one issue when no one even talked about it? That's a good question. We'll do one more. How about that? We'll have two more. This one's small. This is from Jared Blasky from Campbell, California. I had to write to you guys to compliment you on your Street Fighter 2 coverage and the April issue. You guys had the first in-depth coverage of the mega hot Street Fighter for the Super Nintendo. As far as I'm concerned, EGM rules. Yeah. And we got one more. Let's do old Johnny Miller. Mullen. Johnny Mullen. Johnny Mullen. Then move this over from Bayport, New York. Go from the east to the west and back. Honestly, I love your magazine and I love your reviews, and it blows away other mags. Frankly, for about the last 6 or 7 issues, something is really pissing me off. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Street Fighter 2. You spend too much time on that 16 meg wonder. Jeez. If you ask me, it's a mindless punching kicking game with an old idea with a couple of neat tricks. Spend your time on other stuff like Genesis, not the SNES. Oh! Sounds like we got to the root of the problem, my friends. We got a Sega fanboy here. Johnny Mullen is a Sega fanboy. Johnny. When will you learn? When will you learn that we must love all game consoles? All of them. He's a consolist. Well, John, you suck. I'm just saying it right now. Okay, now we're going to move to the responses. I kind of want to read these, though. These are pretty good. Maybe I'll just do a couple more. Just a couple more here. Alex Rogue from Hialeah, Florida. By the way, if you guys would like to read along with myself, you can go to retromags.com. The link is in the description of this video. This is where we get all the amazing archived history. And this is where we get our EGM issues. It's a full EGM love fest until, yeah, damn you, Johnny. Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that? No, sensei. Johnny, look, I got to tell you something else, okay? After we win this karate tournament, I want you to go on and do something with your life. The last thing I want for you, Johnny, is for you to sit around and think about and stew over Daniel LaRusso and a karate tournament that took place when you were 16. Don't waste your life. Move on. Okay, where are we? All right. Alex writes in and says, I just called Capcom. I love it. I love it when they say this. Do you guys remember? Could you just call these companies back in the day? I doubt very much that you could just call Capcom. Maybe I should call Capcom. Anyway, I just called Capcom and I got disappointed. Since I heard about Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, I wanted to know what system it would be coming out on. They said it would never be coming out for any home system ever. They also said that none of the new features of the Champion Edition will be in the Super Nintendo version. You have always been able to get the straight scoop. Will the Champion Edition ever come out? Says Alex Rogue from Hialeah, Florida. Moving on to Daryl Strabs from Klingon, New Jersey. And Daryl writes, the world's most popular game has to be Street Fighter 2. I can't count the hundreds of dollars I've poured into the arcade machine. The last month, I saw your great 16-page insert on the game, and I decided then and there that I will sell my Genesis and buy a Super Nintendo. This game is hot. Well, I applaud your extended coverage of the Super Nintendo game. I can't help but wonder if you're being paid by Capcom to hype it up. What causes me some concern is the fact that none of your other magazines have had the coverage that you have. Sure, Mr. I won't publish it till it's in the World Book. Hasn't done anything yet, as expected. But I find it hard to believe that the other two mags haven't done anything on it at all. Explain yourself, says Danny Hibbs from Klingon, New Jersey. We got Jacques in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's arrived. I don't have my cheering, so you're going to have to deal with this. Welcome on in, my friend. Good to see you. We got $2 super chat from Raj. Raj the Rainmaker says, for Johnny to get some coffee at Timmy's and chill. He's got to move on from this karate tournament, man. You know what I'm saying? He's got to move on. Angry letters are fun. Daryl has theories. All right, let's move on. This one is covered. Let me move this. Josh Raymer from White House, Tennessee. Okay. And then we're going to get to these are a lot fun. These are fun. They're a lot fun. They're a lot funner. They're more fun than I thought they would be. That's how my brain works. Except most people internalize their thoughts, but I just kind of spit them out. So let's start that again. These letters are more fun than I thought they would be. All right. Anyway, Josh says, I noticed that you made an unusual statement in your April 15-page blog for Street Fighter 2. You wrote in Guile's stats that he served in the Special Forces in Vietnam, and he was born in the 1960s. The last American troops were pulled out of Vietnam in 1975, when Guile would have been only 15. Did you guys make this up? Oh my God. Josh, chill out, man. Chill out. Here we go. So we can see that, I think it's Ed writing back. He's got a lot to say to these fine folks who have wrote in. Let's get to it. The reader response to our lengthy Street Fighter 2 coverage has been phenomenal. Well, over 99.9% of the letters were in favor of it, and we really had to search long and hard through the mailbag to find a negative letter like John's. John gets called out. No doubt this is Ed. Good job, Ed. You call out that hater. We here at Electronic Gaming Monthly are gamers, and we like to believe that we can tell if a game is good or bad. John. Street Fighter 2 is better than good. It is spectacular. And when the game is that good, we want to tell everybody. We want to tell everybody everything we can about it. In this case, it took a special trip to Capcom to do it. Do you see GamePro going to Capcom? Yeah, look at this. Yeah, Matt says, Ed the hater hating on the other haters that hated the hate. Yeah. Don't we all have a little bit of Johnny hater in ourselves? Well, I think so, yeah. Mickey's my favorite, but what did I miss? Mickey's my favorite, but I mostly play with Leo. Oh, Mikey. I can't read, let alone think. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, Leo. Leo was great. Except, listen, if you were playing the NES one, it was only Donatello. If you lost Donatello, hit that reset button. The game's over. We here at EGM, our gamers already read that part. Here's the scoop. As you can guess, the security on the game is intense. Back in February, there was only one copy in the US, and it was at Capcom. And it was to stay at Capcom. There wasn't any exclusivity granted, as all the magazines could go in and play the game and take photographs. 2 mags were just a short distance away, and we were 2,000 miles away. Distance aside, it didn't take much to convince Steve to let us go. So is he trying to say that other magazines were literally in the same state as Capcom and they couldn't be bothered to reach out? That's what I'm taking out of this. See, that's the difference between EGM and those others. That's the difference, man. You gotta put in some effort and look at the rewards you get. You know what I'm saying? The rest is history. A lot of photos, a couple of interviews, and 15 pages in the April issue. We can't say why we were the only mag to cover it in detail. Perhaps after it's out in the stores. Okay. There's no hard evidence that Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition will be coming to any home system. You name the rumor, and we've heard it also. Mega CD, TurboGrafx CD, and even the links. At some point in time, there may be some big surprises at the CES. There is only one home version, and it is the Super Nintendo game, which is based off the World Warrior, the first version of Street Fighter. We noticed Guile's age discrepancy when we got the text from Capcom on the player profiles. Unfortunately, the profiles were created by Capcom in Japan, and even to this date, we don't know why they showed him up as a non-vet. He would have been only 15 years old. Okay. Now, this is where we need Chad. Maybe Den can answer this. Anyone with a military background in the States, if you were born in 1960, so we're going way back, could it have been possible that Guile would have been a soldier in Vietnam at the age of 15? Anybody confirm this? Does anybody know anything about military? Of course, there's got to be someone actually in 1992. Actually, he would have only been 15 years old. Come on, man. It's a game. It's not real. It's not real. It's just fiction. It's just fiction. Highly unlikely. Okay. Thank you, HGC. Even in the 60s? I'm just saying. $2 super chat from Raj for Jacques for that great comment on Leonardo. Indeed. Cheers to Raj. Cheers to Jacques. And cheers to you, lovely people, for hanging out with me on this Sunday rainy morning. Den says you can lie about your age to enlist. It happened. Yeah, but dude, don't you have to like show ID when you enlist? Sure, you can lie about your age, but when you get to the actual base, are they like, okay, well, can I see some proof of who you are? Are you saying that they can fool the U.S. military with a fake ID? Jacques, with the 15 months. Let's go, buddy. Thank you so much. Wow, 15 months, man. Time flies when you hang with the legends. You are a legend. You are one of the originals, my friend. So thank you so much for the 15 months. Much love. Yeah, that's Joe fans calling out inconsistencies in podcasts. Yeah, I mean, it's just a little fun. It's just fiction, right? It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so HGC might have something here. There are instances for 17-year-olds getting permission and some older 16-year-olds enlisted, but my examples that I know of are World War II and back. Yeah, which would have been like 40s, right? Yeah. One of my great uncles lied about the age at 16. So perhaps back then you could probably get away with that. And I understand people wanting to serve. I get it. Right? So lying about your age and that kind of stuff. I get it. Matt says back in those days, they didn't have the tracking that they do now. You could walk up with a fake ID and do just about anything. So they didn't care. Yeah, they wouldn't be like, oh, that doesn't have like the actual barcode or reflective whatever on it. Cuthbert says, my grandfather fooled the Navy to make it in the Navy and switch with a friend to take his swimming test. Oh my God. He couldn't swim when he was in the Navy? Dude, that's legendary. Like that's some, you know what I'm saying? That's some guts. Oh, guys, thank you for all that info. Appreciate that. Mutron says I spend most of my days lying to myself about my age, but it all falls apart when I ID myself. Stop IDing yourself. It's not good. At our age, it's not good anymore. I stopped counting. I'm not having birthdays anymore. Am I allowed to do this? This year was my last birthday. People are like, oh, when's your birthday? I'll be like, yeah. Yep. How old are you now? That's right. That's correct. Move on. April Fools. Oh, I wonder if these got it. If these guys got it. This is from Jeremy Niwa from Honolulu, Hawaii. And Jeremy called him out. Here we go. Do you guys remember? For those of you who don't remember, a couple of months ago in our EGM reads, it was April, and we got the Street Fighter II Shenlong April Fool's joke. An EGM made up that if you went through the entire game without taking a tick of damage and then got to Bison, if you beat Bison in a tie with either of you not taking damage for 10 rounds, you would fight the legendary Shenlong. It was an April Fool's trick, but let me tell you, they fooled everybody, including myself. But there's some people here that wrote in that weren't fooled. You guys are brutal. I was about to head down to the local arcade to spend big money to fight Shenlong when I realized that no state is abbreviated HA. Being from Hawaii saved me from bankruptcy. What? It was pretty funny seeing all the other Street Fighter junkies trying to get through 10 perfect rounds with Bison, though. Cruel. Too cruel. Yet funny in a sadistic sort of way. I just had, this is from Grant from Scarborough, Ontario. Shout out. Couple hours from where I am here. Grant, shout out to you. I'm sure you're still there. I just had to write to you about your April Fool's trick. It has to be Shenlong. I believe that this to be this year's prank and perhaps the prank of the decade. The key is the pictures in photo 1. When time expires, Ryu is no longer in his fighting stance, but stands with his arms folded. Also, the last picture of Ryu and Bison would end up after a draw, would be their exact starting positions. Photo 3. When looking at the spire on top of the building behind the E in Shenlong, it has completely disappeared. Huh. Wow, this guy really did some police work on this April Fool's trick. One should see the partial piece of the spire through the E. Finally, although Shenlong appears no larger than Ryu, his shadow is Shenlong appears larger than Ryu. His shadow is the same size as Bison's. Am I right? And Ed writes back, this is just a sampling of the letters we get received from our April Fool's contest. Not everybody guessed the Street Fighter 2 picks as the joke, though. Out of the thousands of letters we received, we got some strange entries. Some of them interesting but incorrect guesses included the Lennox Next Wave, one of the Comerica ads, the Game Gear on TV EGM Express, the whole Power Punch fact file. Interesting. But it was Street Fighter. It was Street Fighter. Oh, okay. We're moving on. I need a sip. Good morning, Ghetto Finger Gaming. What is up? Oh my God, there's more. There's more letters. Oh, we got a letter here that is titled Unfair to Canadians. Well, I got to read that one. It's from Nathan Hortness. It's from Nathan Hortness from Petawa, Ontario. Nathan Hortness went on to found Tim Hortons. No, he didn't. Unfair to Canadians. I'm writing you about your video game high scores. Way back in your October issue, you said that you didn't put any restrictions on Canadians in your contests. But the fact that we must include SASE to get our official contest order form puts a restriction on us Canadians because there are no stamps in Canada where we can use that will work in America. To top it off, I was real mad when I received my February issue and found that I would have won the third prize in the Castle of Illusion as my score was over 2 million. I hope you can solve this problem, not only for me, but for everybody who lives outside of your country, says Nathan Horton from Tim Hortons. Look at this guy. Tim Hortons is the worst. Oh my God, I'm drinking Tim Hortons right now. Are you crazy? John Lennon says, go on. Something? What's wrong with Tim Hortons, man? This is a Tim Hortons K-Cup in this cup. $2 super chat meter. Get the hell out of here. Raj, I love you, buddy. You're putting my kids through college. I don't even have kids. Thank you for supporting the channel, my brother. Did I write this letter? No, I did not. I did not. For real, though, all jokes aside, it's people like Raj that help me keep going. As you guys know, this is what I do for a living. So I am dependent on memberships and super chats and views on my videos and stuff like that. So thank you. If you like the content, please consider supporting it. That is my advertisement to you. All right. So Ed's going to write back to this Canadian. And he's going to say, sorry to hear that you missed out on winning one of our contests just because of a stamp. There is a real easy solution to your dilemma, and anybody else's in the world. Oh, I can smell the sarcasm. There is a real easy, okay. All you have to do is go to your local post office and ask for an international reply coupon. What the hell is an international reply coupon? I never heard of this. Have you guys? Tell them that you want the equivalent of airmail postage from the U.S. to your country, and they will advise you as to how many IRCs you will have to send. What the hell is a international reply coupon? What is that? I mean, I don't know. Jay doesn't have any kids. He's his own kid. Not quite. Not quite. I do have 2 Jack Russells, though, which I would put up against someone's kids any day in terms of taking care of something, for sure. I'm kidding. Yeah, okay. So nobody knows what that is. Okay. Fair enough. We're moving on. Oh my, the letters don't stop. I want to move on. They won't let me. Look at the bottom right here. Robert Neva won the Neo Geo Gold. Look at that picture on the bottom. In the Notre Dame tournament. That guy would have been by far the coolest dude ever. Oh man, I'm boiling. Like, can you guys imagine owning a Neo Geo in 1992 when everybody was, battling over Super Nintendo versus Genesis, etc.? And you're like, that's cute. I have a friggin' arcade game. So what do you think about that? Mutron says an international reply coupon is where the rest of the world tells you to stop moaning it. I thought that was actually a real comment. Oh, what is it? Well, Ed just told us what it is, but whatever. Hey, Jack. Good morning. Good to see you. Mega CD-ROM update. Okay, I'm not gonna go through this if you guys are okay with that. I'm the one-man show today. The Sega CD came out and it was absolutely awesome. That's all I'll say. Moving on. Dun, 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 dun. The review crew. Way before Red Letter Media, there was the EGM review crew with Steve, Ed, Martin, Sushi X, musical guest Foo Fighters. All right. Rival Turf for the Super Nintendo from Jellico. I will read Steve, and I will read one other. Who would you guys like me to read? Ed, Martin, or Sushi X? I mean, I feel like Martin always gets, pushed to the side for whatever reason. But I'll do 2 of these. You guys let me know. Need an intro for the review crew? Yeah. But again, in all seriousness, I will shout out EGM for having 4 reviewers even back then in the early times of gaming. They were smart enough to know that instead of one person's opinion who might not like beat 'em ups or RPGs, we'll get 4 people with different backgrounds and we'll get 4 different opinions. So smart of EGM. So smart. Bill, good morning. Raj with the $2. Jay, this is a bribe to do Liverpool accent. We need Mutron for this. I don't know what a Liverpool is, like accent compared to like. So, okay, there's like Paul McCartney's accent, and then there's like John Lennon's accent. But if I do those, or even if I did like Liam's, it's more just like an imitation of that person. I don't know the difference. Mutron is really the person to do that. So Paul McCartney's like, oh, this is gonna be embarrassing, and this is gonna be on the channel forever. Okay, whatever, we'll do it anyway. Paul's is like, well, I wrote Strawberry Field. I can't do it. But John's is more nasally. It's like, well, you've got to remember. You got to remember that. I can't even do it, guys. I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. I need beer, and I don't drink beer anymore. I'm sorry. Playing old games on 2K emulators, MM says, while watching Jay and having fun in the chat. Delicious, nerdy Sunday morning today. Can't get any better. Oh, I love to hear that. My friend. I'm glad that this kind of thing is like a warm, fuzzy 8 to 16-bit blanket wrapping around you, drowning you in nostalgia. I can't do it. Liam's is the Manchester. He's just like, then you got to swear, right? I can't swear. I can't do it. Let's move on. Martin gets pushed aside because the little picture makes him look like Ron Jeremy's second. Oh, Matt. We got to love Matt, don't we? We got to love him. Okay, so I guess, are we going to do Martin then? No, did anybody say who they want me to read? Nobody gives a lips. Den with the one gifted. Thank you, my friend. And congrats to Ted, the Dark Claw, who just became a channel member. Again, if you guys would like to become a channel member, you get access to our private Discord. You can appear on an EGM reading or do gameplay on our community days. So please consider doing so. And thank you, Dan, for the gifted. Christoph, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Okay, we're going to just do Martin. We're going to do Stephen Martin. So, Steve, this is what Steve's been up to. The Big Burrito has been pondering the future of video games this month. His conclusion, the world needs a 32-bit Pong. He's not wrong. Martin wishes to thank all the readers who mailed in Band-Aids. He's real happy now that Konami will be doing Axlay. Cheers. Okay, let's move on to Rival Turf by Jalico for the Super Nintendo. Steve gave it a 6. Rival Turf attempts to duplicate the look and feel of other more famous fighting games like Street Fighter II or Final Fight. I will correct you there because wait a minute. This is a beat 'em up. This isn't a fighting game. Come on, guys. Get your stuff together. Come on. While the game action is not bad by any sense of the word, it also lacks the flair needed to make it stand out from the rest of the genre. Add this only if you feel obligated to have everything fighting game. And I quote. 6. Anybody played Rival Turf? I think it's on the Switch right now. If you're subscribed to the Switch service, which I am, I think Rival Turf's on there. Okay, and we'll go to Martin. Martin gave it a 7. Rival Turf does a good job of emulating Final Fight and adding a 2-player feature. The gameplay is very good, but there are even less moves that make the game a little too easy. The graphics and sounds are above average, but I was really disappointed at the slowdown in the 2-player mode. We'll see. That's probably why Capcom didn't have 2 players for their home port. Probably. I think I played Rival Turf, Matt, on one of the Switch streams. I think we played it. It was I think it was my birthday or one of the ones we had like a Switch variety stream. I think I put it on and we were all kind of like, ugh. If you guys want to like do super cringe, Google Rival Turf box art. Yeah. Woo! We got a $2 donation from Raj the Rainmaker. He says, thank you for at least trying. Love you, buddy. Love you too, dude. And hey, thanks for the super gigantic support the last few days on the channel. I do appreciate that. We are moving on to Might and Magic 2 for the Super Nintendo by American Sammy. Ooh, both Steve and Martin didn't like this one too well. Forgot to do a couple hearts over here. There we go. So Steve gives it a 5. Might and Magic on the Super NES does succeed in duplicating the look and feel that the Might and Magic games are known for. While I was looking for a Super Nintendo to take the concept, while I was looking for the Super NES to take the concept of this game somewhere new, the adventure itself should please fans of the original. Not a bad RPG, but also not the type that blows me away. 5. Steve the hater. Steve hates fun. It's official. Martin hates fun even more with a 4. Might and Magic is for hardcore RPG fans only. Setting up your own party of characters is cool, and there are plenty of monsters to battle. The graphics are plain, and the first-person animation could be better for a 16-bit cart. The quest is too long, but it seems to be... The quest is long, but it seems to be overdone. I need more action in my games. I thought Steve didn't like RPGs. Yeah, Steve doesn't, I don't think. So he gave that like 5's average, right? Like 5's mid-tier. Martin failed it, gave it a 4. There you go. Jacques likes it. Jacques likes Might and Magic. I don't think, guys, I've ever tried one. I don't think I've ever tried one. Oh, hardball 3 with this guy. Who's this guy? Tommy Lasorda? Oh. Jack Nicklaus Golf. Oh my God. Mid-tier. This might be a first. 4 5s. Jack Nicklaus Golf by Trade West for the Super Nintendo. Steve says, while I'm not going to fault the execution of this game, I must admit that the presentation of this golf game has gotten a bit old. Although the game has grown up over the years, the look, feel, and play and style are a bit outdated. This isn't a bad golf game. It also doesn't break any new ground. 5. And Martin takes that a step further, but not really, and says, Jack Nicklaus. I always called this guy Jack Nicholson. Everyone's like, that's the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest actor. Have you ever seen that? We wrote that. We read that book in English. Oh, you didn't take advanced English. Never mind, actually. Nicklaus Golf has a few cool features. I like the way that you follow the ball after you hit it. I like the way that you follow the ball after you hit it. I dislike the way the screen has to update after each hit. It takes forever and gets old really fast. The sounds are excellent and plenty of digitized effects to please your ears. The scaling is choppy and shows no use of Mode 7. 5. Rock the Casbah, what's up? Do you remember Rock? Do you remember Christmas Story? It's like Ralphie's book report. You know what I want, his Christmas theme, what I want for Christmas. The BB gun is good. Football is not as good. Super Battle Tank by Absolute Entertainment. Who the hell is Absolute Entertainment? That game company does not ring a bell whatsoever. It looks like Ed liked it. Ed gave it an 8, but we're not reading Ed's. We're reading Steve and Martin Bartlett. So focus. 6 from Steve. Anybody play Super Battle Tank? I mean, these like war simulations back in the day, these aren't my thing. I don't know. There's a lot of depth in the game that's really enjoyable. The different scenarios you can choose from, as well as the multitude of ever-changing environments that the game presents, give it a brilliant score of execution. The actual battles, however, get a bit repetitive after extended play and ultimately take the gloss off this cart. 6. Mutron says, I like the way you follow the ball after you hit it. That's a genius level of reviewing there. Yeah, I don't think that a football is a very good Christmas present. What does he say? Rarely had the words poured off my petty pen with such whatever. Something like that. But you get the idea. One of the most original carts that I've seen on the Super Nintendo. The enemies are digitized and look really cool. The backgrounds, however, are repetitive and boring. There are a variety of different weapons, but there's just not enough variety in the actual gameplay to keep it from getting repetitive. Excellent sound effects. 6. Well, Super Battle Tank, you might have got me. I might have to check you out one day over here. We hit 29,000 subscribers. Yes. I think last night. Yes. So thank you to everybody. Appreciate that very, very, very much. Like so far, let's just go back here real quick. None of these games, I mean, out of all of these, I think Might and Magic is the most exciting, and I don't think it's that exciting. There's not good games here. PGA Tour Golf by Electronic Arts. Steve, once again, a 6. Steve's not giving out free passes anymore, game companies. Do you hear me? You got to impress this guy. He's played the Sega CD, okay? He doesn't have time for these baby games anymore. Anyway, PGA Tour by Electronic Arts for the Super Nintendo. 6. And we were getting a second wave of third-party Super Nintendo stuff here. And there's nothing really that great. I'm just saying. Although this game features some decent play mechanics, it's a bit too ambitious for its own good. Nevertheless, despite the absence of smooth scaling, PGA Golf manages to tread into some new areas that other golf games haven't thought of traveling. It's short on presentation, but has some nice play value. And 5 from Martin. Martin says, what happened to EA? Wow, they're already saying this about EA in 1992. What happened to EA? The king of sports games just didn't come through this time. The graphics aren't the best ever seen, and there's the graphics aren't the best ever seen, and there is almost no evidence of Mode 7 at work. What's with everyone in the Mode 7? It's a feature, a scalable feature that the Super Nintendo is capable of doing. That doesn't mean every friggin' publisher has to use it, Martin. Jeez. The game has a few cool features to enhance the gameplay, but they really don't make up for the visuals. It plays good, though. It plays good, though. Whoa. We all know, for whatever reason, the Genesis EA sports games, they always played better on Genesis compared to Super Nintendo. The same game, like take take NHL as an example. You play NHL on Super and then you play it on Genesis. There's a notable difference. It's really, really choppy on Super Nintendo. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but that's a fact. We have an NES review. This is F-15 Strike Eagle from Microprose. Shout out to the GTA crew. We were flying some F-15 Strike Eagle-ish planes yesterday, right into the mountain. 4. Steve says this game is simply too ambitious for the 8-bit Nintendo. What's left of this simulator shooter is basically an exercise in target practice with graphics and sounds that are something short of spectacular. This game is slightly better than Top Gun and other titles that appeared years ago. It doesn't possess much else. Raj, sadly, I do not. My comics went bye-bye. Yep, I had to. You know, when you get to a point when you're just collecting too much. So I started recollecting again. I think it was 2021. But got rid of them all to my buddy. Yeah, who's a huge comic book collector. You can't collect everything. Do you know what I mean? And sadly, they were just sitting there. And it's not that I don't love comic books, but yeah, they went. My first comic book collection went to help go fund Nintendo Quest back in 2013. But I'll always love comics. And we're going to go Martin here. Gives it a 3. An 8-bit flight simulator. Need I say more? Graphically, this cart is uneventful. The first-person graphics are choppy and offer very little realism. The plane is difficult to control, and the actual feel of flight is lost altogether. Games like this really don't have a fighting chance. But then the system doesn't either. That's my NES you're talking about there, Martin. Okay? And let me tell you something else, Martin. Graphics aren't everything. You will learn this in the future, my friend. You will learn. We're moving on to another flight simulator for the NES. This is MiG-29. HGC with the zinger. Randy's mom is also very choppy, allegedly. Well, Packers would know, but he's not in the chat today. He would know. Steve gives it a 4. So, okay, all joking aside, let's take a minute to go back in history. And we can see that although now I say graphics aren't everything, back then, graphics were absolutely everything. Because the goal was, the closer to reality your game was, the better that it would sell. And that's just the way it was back then. We know now that that's not the way of the future. That's not the way video games are today. Thank God. Because that would be extremely boring. But back then, yeah, again, see, nobody wanted the old technology. I got made fun of so much for keeping my NES games when everyone was trading in their stuff for Genesis and Super Nintendo. I remember having mine on the bookshelf and everyone, trade in those. I'm like, no, man, like the new graphics are awesome. Of course, I like it, but I'm going to want to go back at some point and play Super Mario 3. Yeah. They went to a better home, Raj. My buddy, who shall remain nameless, he's the biggest comic book collector I know. So he got my Daredevil 2. So it's in a better place that will be put out on display and not just tucked away. So yeah, again, you can't collect everything, right? I guess unless you're a millionaire. Okay, so anyway, we're going back to Steve's review here of MiG-29. And he says, take away the background wallpaper and fluff from this title. And what you're essentially left with is a basic first-person shooter with adequate graphics and sound. Like Strike Eagle, this is basically a Top Gun update that doesn't have the Top Gun name. Very limited in scope and playing options. Raj, thank you once again for the $2, buddy. Martin also gives it a 4. We're getting a lot of low scores this issue. I don't know if it's just like the older gen consoles or if these games are really that bad. I can honestly say I don't think I've played one game on this. Have you guys, besides the Might and Magic, have you guys played? Yoshi. We gave Yoshi away. JP won it, actually, thanks to our sponsor, Game Cycle in London, Ontario here. Josh won the copy of Yoshi for the NES. But anyway, back here to Martin's review. It's no Top Gun. Just your average run-of-the-mill 8-bit cart. See, he's all listen to the graphics elitist here. Martin, I don't like your attitude, mister. Not a terrible effort, but not a game that will remain in your mind until... What? Not a terrible effort, but not a game that will remain in your mind until you get it for yourself. What the hell does that even mean, Martin? Whatever. There is a few cool features, but the game is repetitious. It creates little excitement. The graphics are typical 8-bit, as are the sounds. Jeez. I don't like that. Talking about my NES here, okay? It hurts. Hurts right here. Okay? Good system, man. HCC. I played the Yoshi game. Wasn't that great? So I think the scores are correct. It's what is it? A puzzle game? Yeah, I've never played this either. It's just called Yoshi, based on the popular character. Yoshi. All right, for the NES. Oh, well, these guys are going to tear it apart. 4. Here we go. Steve says Tetris worked because it was overly simple and became fun to play. You competed against yourself more than anything else. This game tries to capture many of the same feelings, but just doesn't succeed. If you're in mood for a puzzler, this might pop your cork. But Yoshi didn't do it for me. This might pop your cork. Wow. I agree. I agree with what they said. That's why stuff like, you guys remember Hatris for the NES? That's why stuff like Hatris didn't take off. I agree with Steve saying Tetris worked because it was so simplistic. Anyone could pick it up and understand it within seconds. This just looks like a mess to me. Just saying. Martin gave it a 6, a couple points higher, 1 above average, and says Yoshi is a good twist on the Tetris theme, but the gameplay of the NES version leaves me much to be desired again with the graphics. Like Tetris, the Game Boy version played better. The colored graphics are cute, and the sound is a little different, but overall the game lost a bit in the translation. An above average puzzler, though. Moving on. None of these games have absolute any interest or excitement for me. Oh my God, it's Splatterhouse! Splatterhouse 2. Dun, 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 dun. Finally, we can get excited about a title. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Worth about $400 in change if you happen to have a complete copy. Good on you. The ever-present Splatterhouse 2, but the yet unobtained Splatterhouse 2 because it's $400+. Splatterhouse made by the legendary Japanese company Namco for the Sega Genesis. It gets a 7 from Steve. It's great to see a sequel to what is one of my favorite arcade and home games. The Genesis does a nice job of conveying the ghoulish mood with just the right setting and a great combination of music and incredibly gross graphics. The action is pretty straightforward, but the execution and look of this game is totally unique. Now, does that not sound like it should be more than a 7 to you guys? Or is it me over here? Right? Yeah, Cutthroat says, I love me some Splatterhouse 2. Says, I don't know. Was Dragon Quest franchise already solid in consoles at the time of EGM 35? Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, Matt's already answered, I think, but I think it was Dragon Warrior over here. Yes, thank you. See, I knew he would know. He typed it way faster than I could ever say it. He's magic. Magic Matt Tracker. Martin even liked it. See, I want to read Ed's because Ed gave it the highest score. Well, we'll Martin 7. Splatterhouse 2 is one of the better action games available for the Genesis. The gameplay could use a little work, especially concerned how the main character jumps. That's not a sentence. The gameplay could use a little work, especially concerned how the main character jumps. Whatever. The graphics are as gross as possible on a 16-bit system, and the sounds are eerie. The voices are kind of cheesy, but overall, an above-average cart. I will say, Splatterhouse 2 in particular, the sound is not nearly as good as the TurboGrafx. Now, this is an original Namco game where the TurboGrafx game was a port of the arcade version, so you could argue that they were emulating the arcade for sure. But the TurboGrafx, when you have that 2x4 and you smack them against that wall, it sounds infinitely better than it does on the Genesis. It's just a completely new sound effect on the Genesis, and I just think it's not as good. Splatterhouse 3 is completely different because that's more of a Streets of Rage final fight beat 'em up. They really changed it, which I think it's great. But anyway, we're going to move on. CyberCop by Virgin Interactive for the Sega Genesis. Anybody play CyberCop? Look right here, guys. I don't know if you can see it, how big your screen is here, but on the actual game screen, it says Virgin Games. Who does that? Who watermarks their own game on the actual gameplay? Is this a first? The $2 donation from Raj the Rainmaker, and Raj says, for Jay's amazing Splatterhouse 1 video. Thank you, my friend. Have you seen my new Ninja Gaiden video that dropped hot last night? If not, please check it out. Hope you guys like it. By far, the most work I've ever put into a video. Hope you guys like it. The game's tough. Mo says it's time to wake up. Good morning, Mo. Dan, you've played CyberCop. Okay. You are a special agent for the Zodiac team sent to investigate the UCC's inner workings. What kind of game is it? Anyway, back to the Virgin watermark. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, Steve gives it a 4. Another game that tries too hard to be something that the machine can't show. This game has some fun features, but for the most part, they are overshadowed by poor graphic presentation and a very repetitive nature that, combined with the visual problems, gets to be frustrating quite quickly. Wow. And Martin gives it a 4 as well. I like the idea behind this cart, but the Genesis cannot handle polygon graphics very well. If the graphics were smoother and the gameplay had more response, excuse me, it's just too jerky to really enjoy. It's just too jerky to really enjoy. Then this cart would be much more interesting. To me, it is frustrating, but if you're into these maze games, you'll like it. I'm not into these maze games, and I don't care. That's what she said. Oh, Rock, that's good. Mutron says, rumor has it that Ten's avatar now runs so fast she spent time and will be featured on the cover of next. Mutron jokes about Den of Geeks DC issues that he had during our Halloween Ghostbuster event in Grand Theft Auto Online, where his avatar seemed to just get out of the car for no reason, and Den would disconnect, but the avatar would still be like running. Oh, average gamer, what is going on? Why are you not showing up over here? You're over here. Ninja Gaiden was one of my favorites. I'll check out the video today. Oh, thanks, my friend. Yeah, let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down. Throw a comment down. Share your Ninja Gaiden memories. I always like to start my history videos off with a little personal take. That's why I talk about my friend Darren, my good buddy, because it was his game. I never had Ninja Gaiden. The only Ninja Gaiden I owned back then was number 2, which I love so much. But he had the first one, which was quite a bit more difficult. Raj says, Jay, do you ever have a favorite Star Wars game on the Super Nintendo? Return of the Jedi. Yeah, Super Return of the Jedi. It's great. Mo, I'm not saying that. MM says, because Jay reading EGM magazines, I'm hyped to also download other old mags like Action Games, Dungeons and Dragons magazines, and many classic publications back then. Shout out to Retro Mags. Did they have those too? That's awesome. Yeah, I used they had game players that I used for the Ninja Gaiden video, and of course the Nintendo Power that's featured in there as well. Shout out Retro Mags is the best, man. I'm telling you. Look at this guy. Master Temple is here. What do you think of EGM and Nintendo Power magazines going for high prices at cons? I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I want to get a copy of EGM number 1, but I haven't seen one under $300 that isn't torn to shreds. My lowest one is number 8. Technically, it's number 6, but that's a buyer's guide. Then technically would be actually, I think, number 2 I have. But actual issues that aren't, because they used to count the buyer's guides as numbered issues. Why you'll notice, like if you go back to when Will and I started doing this, there's some gaps in the numbers because they were buyer's guides. Then they kind of stopped doing that and incorporated the buyer's guide as either separate issues or they would include them inside the magazine. Thanks, Jock. I appreciate that, dude. You still have EGM with Street Fighter 2 on it. Which one, buddy? They did the last 4 in a row had Street Fighter featured on it. I mean, to say that game was huge is a complete understatement. I mean, it was globally taking over. Just too jerky to enjoy was one of the Red Hot Chili Peppers' least records. HGC says, Jay, I know I've missed some live streams, but did you ever make a decision about doing vintage strategy guide reviews? Yes, I want to. I think it's a great idea. In fact, my friend, I'm working on an idea right now that's going to incorporate the strategy guides that I have in the old mags that I have. I'm trying to come up with some kind of like game that we can all like interact with. Because I got to have at least 200 plus strategy guides. At least. But I think that's a really great idea. I would also like to go into game players, video games and computer entertainment, Game Pro. But like I've said before, I would not stop EGM and I would do those, but I would continue on the month and year that we're on instead of going back in time, unless we get really, really far ahead, like into the 2000s, and then go back as another throwback. Does that make sense? Raj with the $2 super chat. Putting my dogs through college. And Paulie says hi over here. She says, I'm sorry about the cookies. I'll make you cookies next week. If you can't wait, then get the hell out of here. What am I doing? That's my Aunt Paulie imitation. Thank you for the love, buddy. Oh, guys, you guys are making me laugh. This is great. I'm going to get that 6-pack back. No, not happening. Oh, you got the official Mario 3 guide. It's a great start since everyone knows that one. Yeah, okay. Or Final Fantasy 1. I don't have either of those. That will put us all to sleep. Legend of Zelda guide. Dude, Jacques, I would say every single Zelda guide. I even have the Link to the Past that was put out in Nintendo Power. Bulls versus Lakers by Electronic Arts for the Sega Genesis. This is, I don't think it's Game of the Month, but it's got an Editor's Choice Gold Award, which I think, if we remember, is averaging 8 or higher. It's got to be. Maybe 7 or higher. Anyway, Steve gives it an 8. Everything about this title, from the graphics to the sound effects to the gameplay, is absolutely top-notch. The interaction of the players and the methods that can be used to turn around some incredible plays are fully captured in this cart. If you're into basketball and you have a Genesis, this is the game you've been waiting for. Now, didn't Martin just say a couple pages back what happened to EA? Nothing happened to EA. The processor on the Super Nintendo was not as good. And for whatever reason, that's just what I think. The Genesis didn't have a lot of slowdown like the Super Nintendo. I'm not being a consolist here. I'm just saying facts. If you play sports games from this era, they will play better on Genesis. They may look better on Super Nintendo, but they will play better on Genesis. We got 30 people in the chat. Yeah, this is great. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new, please consider subscribing or becoming a channel member. There are 3 tiers in which you can get what I think are some pretty cool perks. Mostly hanging out with me in the community. I think that's the coolest stuff. Since we can't game together couch co-op wise, one of the main perks is playing with our community day. And I've tried to make it as universally appealing as I can, putting Fortnite up there. Because if you have Fortnite, we can play together. Because it's cross-compatible with everything. Your light switch can play Fortnite. Have a good dinner. Say hi to Chantel. Have yourself a good night, my friend, and thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. Martin also gives it an 8. Bulls versus Lakers is a big improvement over Lakers versus Celtics. The graphics are better and animate much smoother. The sounds are digitized. Okay. There's even the screeching, of gym shoes on the court floors. The game has been improved as well, with more control over the players and bonus features like instant replay. This guy, and it was Martin, just said what happened to EA. I think you owe EA an apology. Daydreamin' Davy. Has anybody ever had the unfortunate pleasure of playing Daydreamin' Davy for the NES? Just look at this art. It's terrible, but it's one of these games that I love because it's so terrible. This game is about a kid who falls asleep in class, and he just like daydreams about being a knight or being a cowboy, and then he goes into those times. Anyway, no one gives a lips. Kid Chameleon, or as I used to call it, Kid Camelon, by Sega for the Genesis. 7. So this game is a platformer. I don't know if Sega intended to make Kid Chameleon like a mascot character, but it is a platformer. One that I loved back in the day, but didn't age very well. So basically, the premise is you would get different masks. You would put the masks on Kid Chameleon, and he would become that character. So each character that he would become had like their own special abilities, and that kind of thing. And you can see there's a Jason ripoff on the screen here. But Steve gives it the old 7. The depth and overall theme of this game is really wonderful. Not only is the action of this game presented well, but beyond the hero-enemy interaction are a variety of other play mechanics that require you to discover just who's the best person to be in each situation. Kid Chameleon also gives you a lot to do in one package. 7. Not bad over here. And Martin also gives it a 7. Sega has a very cool idea for an action card here. The gameplay is similar to Mario in a lot of ways, and there are plenty of hidden power-ups and bonuses. The graphics are kind of cartoony, and the music is not great, but it does fit the game well. Lots of techniques and good gameplay make this cart a sleeper. What? Shouldn't that be? Hang on. Lots of techniques and good gameplay make this cart a sleeper hit. Make this a sleeper hit. I did play some Kid Kaka. What? What the hell is Kid Kaka? Oh, you're joking. Can I ask you guys a serious question? Where in time is Carmen Sandiego? I know there's going to be a ton of you in the chat who've played this one. I'm sure this is a fan favorite. I'm going to be transparent with you guys and say that I've never played Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego game, and I'm okay with that. I don't give a lips. Jay, do you watch the Game Chasers on YouTube? Yes. I know Billy and Jay. They're good dudes. Yep. I talked to them during the filming of Nintendo Quest. And actually, Billy is in Nintendo 64 Quest. Yep, they're good guys. Funny guys. 6 from Steve. The fact that the Carmen games are educational as well as fun to play is a nice plus. While the game is a bit slow and never really manages to get the blood pumping, I think is what you mean. The idea behind it, as well as the manner in which the gameplay is presented, are nice. Carmen may lack big guns, but it's a leisurely play. There you go. Yeah, Impossible Pie. I remember the first video I watched of theirs was when they found Flintstone's Dinosaur Peak. And I think it was a Game Exchange or something like that. They just found it on the shelf. One of the employees mistagged it. Talk about a find. That's crazy. We got a 5 from Martin. Did anybody play this game, first of all? There you go. Carmen Sandiego games were better on PC than the console. That I 100% believe. We got $2 super chat from Raj. Hoping you liked rainy weather, Jay. Boom. And I love it, buddy. And I'm sorry I don't have the effects for you. But the Talking Head streams are a little different. This is a program called StreamYards. Theme song? I don't remember. Rondo, what's going on? I got the Carmen game with a dictionary. Never played it. Yeah, it did come with that. I hate to say this. This is going to sound terrible. I'm just going to say it. I think that's one reason I never played it. The term educational game made me like, I was like, I don't want to learn nothing. I just want to shoot the aliens. That's probably why. Yeah. I feel like I should go back and play it. But Martin says, this cart will appeal to a very small group of players. The graphics are not very intense and the music is repetitive and gets annoying after long play times. The gameplay, however, is very interesting with plenty of history and geography thrown in. You may actually learn something. Not my type of game, but not bad. Hey, Martin, I'm with you. Possible Pie says, I only remember the Carmen San Diego show. Never played the game. There was a show. Really? I don't remember that. Carmen is a fun game. Look at that. That's fair. I feel like I have to try it. Didn't they release one of these? Or isn't there one coming out soon? Does anyone remember Where in the World is Carmen San Diego, the show? I don't. Was there anybody like that we would know, like any like famous actors nowadays? I'm assuming the show's older, right? Dale's in the house. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Neil says, you remember the Carmen, or sorry, do you remember the game show on Square One TV? They had a barbershop quartet. No, I do not. I do not. Matt says there were 2 live action game shows on PBS for Carmen San Diego. The first was Where in the World. The second one was Where in Time. The theme from Where in the World was sung by Rockapella. It's good. Rockapella. There's all these things coming at me. I have no idea what they are. This is great. No, Raj. No. I just mean for me at the time, it wouldn't have been my kind of thing. Now, like I've said many times too, our family household didn't have a PC that could play games. So had I had a PC, I'm sure I definitely would have come across this and tried it for sure. But just this being on like the Genesis, like especially, you can go to Blockbuster or your mom and pop shop and rent 1, maybe 2 games for the weekend if you're lucky, if your parents were feeling generous. For me, one of them wouldn't have been Carmen San Diego. That's just me, though. Oliver, got you here. Jay, have you played and finished any of the hardest fighting games like Bad Dudes, Renegade, or River City Ransom? I've played them all. I've never finished any of those. Have you? Oh, I remember Renegade on NES. Not liking it. Bad Dudes was all right. It was all right. River City Ransom is still great. That's a great game. Rock says my school had Carmen San Diego in the first computer lab. Well, that must have been the best school ever. For real. I remember in our computer class, one of just a kid I knew, he got in trouble for bringing Wolfenstein in. He tried to get it to run. I can't remember if he was successful or not, but yeah, the computer teacher was not happy. Maybe it was John Romero. I don't know. Maybe John Romero went to my school. I don't know. Maybe he did. What if he did? Maybe he did. Maybe it was him. Ooh. Just hit 30. Just hit 30. What do you mean? We did? Hang on. Let me check. Oh, geez. I thought you meant 30 subs. 30K subs. My heart just exploded there for a second. Oh my God. Just taking a break. My voice is starting to go. But I like talking to you guys more. No. It's okay. That's what I thought you meant. I'm just trying to keep up here. Jay, does Final Fantasy franchise have the best soundtrack of all time in games? Look at these hard-hitting questions on a Sunday morning. Let's get the chat to respond as well. That way, my answer will not get in trouble. I would say best soundtrack ever. This might be a point that people can argue. But I'm going to say that I think the greatest soundtrack is from Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Okay. And I know that that's a collection of pop songs, but I still think that that has the best soundtrack ever. Now, if you're talking about just original, which I'm sure you are, original scores, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy II, Majora's Mask, Perfect Dark. Those 4 games, I would say, are my favorite soundtracks off the top of my head. World of Warcraft would be there, so that's my 5th. Phantasy Star Online has an insane soundtrack. What a great topic. I love it, guys. Keep bringing this stuff up. Yeah, you said it. That's a tough one, man. Oh, Mega Man C, look at Neil. Mega Man 2. Ninja Gaiden. Right? Castlevania. So that would be, I mean, that's a good live stream, right? We should do like maybe like the top 50 gaming soundtracks. That would be a lot of fun. Fallout, Dangerman, how you doing, buddy? Fallout has a great soundtrack. Yep. 100%. Okay, let's move on. Guys, just keep throwing out your favorites. We're at the Winter Challenge. All I was gonna say, is that a screen for Winter Challenge? Yeah, that's Luge, I think. By Ballistic for the Sega Genesis. 3. This game fails to capture any of the excitement you'd expect if you were competing in such winter sports. Many of the game's events are simply repackaged over and over again, and the cart really falls short when it comes to the graphic and animation presentation. There's a lot of fun to wipe out. Oh, it is a lot of fun to wipe out, but the game play just is not there. 3. Winter Challenge. No one gives a lips. I certainly don't care. Martin gives it a 4. Winter Challenge is a computer game to the core. What does that mean? Martin, I'm telling you, you're on thin ice, mister. The graphics aren't as smooth as they could be, and there isn't much variety from event to event. The best thing about this card is its wicked spills you have during events. Try wiping out on the long jump and then use the instant replay. It's very amusing. It's kind of like doing crashes and stuff in GTA, right? Half the fun is doing the wipeouts and things like that. Oh, look, guys. It's the world's worst controller. Voted by you, voted by me, the world's worst controller. Third party. This thing is terrible. The stealth controller by Nayu, whatever. Terrible, brutal. Would I buy one? Heck yes. Oh, the Jeep dance in 7 days. Yeah. Yeah, I did a short out of that one. That was fun. Dargoon, where are you, buddy? I thought you got Grand Theft Auto. He's not listening. Mutation Nation, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, what is this game review? Huh. This is new. We either have only 3 reviews for these 2 Game Boy games, or they actually forgot to print the reviews here. Anyway, we have a Mutation Nation review, meaning we have an actual Neo Geo review. This is exciting. 6 from Steve. I like the way SNK has packaged your typical punch and kicker into a more futuristic setting. The action is decent with graphics and sounds that are great, even by Neo Geo standards. The game loses a point for its unlimited continues, however, which in turn means it's a one-time play. If you can resist, however, it's a winner. And Martin also gives it a 6. Mutation Nation is one of the better Neo Geo carts available. The graphics and sounds are top notch. The gameplay is your typical side scrolling punch and kick with a few power ups thrown in for good measure. The biggest fault is the unlimited continues feature that ensures you'll see the ending the first time you play. Listen, I don't think that should be a fault of the game. It's an arcade game. What you have to do is set limitations for games like this. Just say, okay, what's an average for continues? 5 continues. Maybe in a beat 'em up like this, maybe like 7, 8 continues, but you got to set limits to yourself. You know what I'm saying over here? Game Boy games get low scores. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about you guys. It's just not for me. Yoshi on the Game Boy? What did it get on Nintendo? It got better on Game Boy than it did on the NES. Interesting. So Steve gives it a 6. This game does better on the smaller Game Boy screen and compared to the when compared to the 8-bit NES. Although the puzzling action is essentially the same, the portable power of the Game Boy make it more fitting for this type of title. It's still a puzzle game, however, so anybody looking for laser cannons should be wary. And Martin gives it a 7. Yoshi is a cute play on Tetris. The gameplay is a bit different and there is more technique to it. The graphics are good and you'll see many recognizable faces from the Mario games. The music sets the mood well and the gameplay has an addicting quality. And most of all, it's fun. For a green dino, Yoshi's one hot dog. for a green dino, Yoshi's a hot dog. Okay. NBA by the infamous LJN. Great at making toys, not so great at publishing games. My 2 thoughts. My 2 cents. My 2 thoughts. Whatever I'm saying. 6. While real fans of basketball will find something to like about this game, it's hard to shrink the scope of the sport down to the size of a Game Boy. The graphics in this title are somewhat short on detail, but the overall representation of the sport isn't that bad. With some minor problems, the game does okay. And Martin gives it a 5. We're going to read this like Blur from Transformers, okay? This one goes out to John Moshida. This card is going to attempt bringing basketball to the Game Boy the whole... Okay, let's try it again. This game card is going to attempt bringing basketball to the Game Boy the whole new way. It's like the vertical defense, but not enough control to save the impressive Game Boy of the Game Boy 5. Not bad. Not bad. That was pretty good. What the heck is Nail and Scale? Does anybody know what the heck Nail and Scale is? Well, it's made by Data East. It's a new puzzle game for the Game Boy. I think these kind of games are fine for the Game Boy. Where I have an issue with it is like when you try and do Castlevania and Mega Man. Any of that kind of stuff doesn't work. Mutron, did you watch? You've seen some of the Fortnite from this week, right? If you get taken down, or if you have the good fortune of grabbing Eminem's gun, he does the speed rapping, is like the bullets coming out of it. It's quite jarring and quite scary. I'm not as good at speed rapping as Eminem. Oh well. 7 for Nail and Scale by Data East. What this game lacks in graphics quality and more than makes up for it with solid gameplay mechanics and enough technique for 2 games. While the card is basically a puzzle game, it takes many of the most common risk initiatives found in the genre, adds some new twists, and produces an end result that's actually original and fun. So we randomly picked Martin, but it seems like at every turn, Martin is almost agreed with Steve, as Martin gives this one a 7 as well. An original cart with great gameplay and lots of potential. The graphics are nothing revolutionary, but the gameplay is solid and very fun. This cart reminds me of the first generation of games like Dig Dug and Load Runner. Loads of techniques, a 50 and 50 levels to conquer make this great Game Boy game pass the time. I'm out of coffee almost. I forget. Do we have any Atari Lynx fans out there? Anyone at all? Well, I am. I love the Lynx, damn it. This is Basketball by Atari for the Lynx. And we got a 4 from Steve. A great idea that is poorly put together. Basketball holds the premise of great basketball action as well as street fighting overtones. In the end, the cart fails to achieve high ratings for either, instead ending up as a choppy sports game that can't make up its own mind if it wants to be a fighting game or stuff like that. Yeah, so great. It can't make up its mind what it want to be or how the fighting should impact the play. I read it how it was wrote, okay? JP is here. What's up, brother? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we're going to go with Martin with a 4. Hey, I was very disappointed. The idea of street fighting basketball really seems cool. When it's plagued with choppy animation and jerky controls, JP, the game has a few cool features. Gang members throw knives at the players from the stands. This cart reveals plenty to be desired and shows little effort from the big A. Nah, I'm good. Basketball, I don't think, is a sport that you can really bring armed combat into. Baseball, Base Wars made sense. Like NBA Jam, I think, is like the most you can do without getting nuts. You know what I'm saying? Hockey, sure. Football, definitely. Basketball, not so much over here. Rampart. I've seen Rampart for like 3,000 systems in my day, and I've never played it once. To me, it always looks extremely boring. Rampart seems good. Are you joking around? Cutthroat? Even from the screens, to me, it just looks dull. Anyway, I might be wrong. I've never played it. This is Rampart for the Lynx by Atari. 7 from Steve. I like the concept behind Rampart more and more each time I play it. This portable version does a good job of getting the game down to size, complete with some nice graphics and a keen understanding of how the play mechanics should operate. A great action puzzle game done well on the Lynx. 7. And Martin gives it the big 8. Rampart for the Lynx is pretty good. See, the opening statement should be something like this. Man, Rampart for the Lynx is flippin' rippin'. Right? For an 8, that's what it should open with. But anyway, the opening scene is totally cool, and the cinema displays during the gameplay are awesome. The game itself is a great translation. The sounds are digitized, and the graphics are near perfect. The gameplay is just right and will hook you right from the start. New hope for the Lynx. Wrong. That's a big negative there. That's a big negative. Okay. We're going to take a little bit of a coffee break here. You guys are cool with that? A little bit. And we're going to leave you with a quick video. I just need something to quench my thirst and to, give me just a little bit more energy. So we're going to leave you with, of course, my last video, which is my attempted playthrough of Hotel Mario I will meet you guys back here in 5 minutes. Butters is here. It's time to party. Okay? Be back in 5, my friends. Mario looks off. Welcome to Hotel Mario. What is Hotel Mario? Hotel Mario is something. Back in the 90s, Philips and Nintendo were going to make the Super Nintendo CD-ROM. Unfortunately, that fell through. As part of that agreement, Nintendo allowed Philips to use their characters and make a couple games. And oh god, this is what we got.
Invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi?
Enjoy.
Lots of spaghetti. Luigi, look. It's from Bowser. Dear pesky plumbers, the Koopalings and I have taken over the mushroom.
Listen to Mario's voice. Listen to it.
Now a permanent guest at one.
You know, we can make fun of this all we want. This would have been amazing in the 90s had you had this game and the CDI, which I don't think anybody did.
Find the princess. And you gotta help us.
We gotta help them get to the hotel. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The hidden gem that you never knew existed. The game, the Mario game that you've been waiting for, that you never knew you wanted. Hotel Hell Mario. Morton is not okay.
Peaceful. Looks at the seating when Koopas are involved.
What? This hotel's in a tree. This first hotel's in a tree. Would Doot Hysteria Hotel? Morton's? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hotel Mario, the door opening simulator. This is all you do. Open and close doors. Oh. We gotta go up these elevators. We gotta stop these Goombas, these Koopas, these... Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hotel Mario, where we have to close these doors, gather coins, get mushroom power-ups, I think, and stop King Koopa from opening a chain of hotels. Shut those doors. Open, close. Open, close. I mean, the controls are the controls. Easy. Easy. And just like that, that's level 1. Look at all those points. Yay. Stage 2 is real easy. The first thing you got to remember to do is keep having fun. If there's one thing Hotel Mario knows, it's fun. This is probably one of the greatest Mario experiences I've ever had in my entire lunch. What is that? Mushroom, mushroom. What did it do? I'm not invincible, and I didn't grow big, so you got to be careful here, because if you jump, you could get hit by the Goombas on the top shelf. This is the spiritual successor to elevator action. That's it. Stage 2 done, just like that. Easiest game ever. Now we get to rack up all our bonus points and reap the rewards. Stage 2 froze. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Woo! What did it do? And here we are, level 3, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the music's really heating up. I'm getting super excited. Do we have boss fights in this? What could be waiting for us in Hotel Marius? Mario going up top. He doesn't give a lips. Now, I heard a rumor out there that Hotel Mario was Randy's mom's favorite game.
Randy's mom is the gaming icon.
Before, here we go. I really got to give it to Philips. Do you know what I mean? They wanted to try something different. They're like, you know what? Mario 2, Mario 3, such great sequels. We got to do something better. Should we have the Tanuki suit in ours? Nah. Open, close. Open, close. What should we have in ours? How about nothing? Oh, I got hit there. I guess we know now what the mushroom does. It gives us an extra hit. Hey, I appreciate that. Why waste time developing a bigger sprite for Mario with the mushroom when we could just make him flash? If you guys are wondering what the controls are like, they're pretty not great. They're pretty not great. All right. I need to play Rampart. No, I don't think I do. Maybe I do. Let's get the other chat back up here. Okay, let's do it. One man show. Here we go. I'm like Christian Slater and pump up the volume. Okay. There we go. Stop share, and then we're going to share the magazine again. Boom. We're back, and this is the month of June 1992. Look at these releases. Look at what we got. Opening more doors than Jill Valentine on speed. I like that. I actually like the game. I like Hotel Mario. I do. Best Mario ever. Just saying. Skyfall. What's up, dude? Pump up the volume. Good to see you, mate. Cheers. I had to switch to water. I've had 3 coffees today. I think that's enough. Gotta go with water. All right. Titles to note are Darkwing Duck by Capcom for the NES. What else do we see here? Baseball Stars 2 is always a great one. Okay. Now moving to Super Nintendo, I see nothing. All right. Game Boy, we have Hook. Remember that movie, Hook? Genesis, we got Splatterhouse 2. Lemmings. Kadash is a good one. Neo Geo, we have Baseball Stars 2. Lynx, we have Hydra, which is not bad. Turbo, there's 3 Turbo games. Cosmic Fantasy, Gunboat, and Lord of the Rising Sun. Yeah, we're getting pretty low here. Pareen, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. You like Gunboat? I never played that one either. Is that a CD-ROM game? Do you remember? Oh boy. Quarterman's here. Quarterman is here. You guys know this is one of our favorite off-the-rails segments. This guy, he's just a geyser of information, a geyser of rumors that always come true for the most part. So we're going to dive into, see what he has to say. Oh my God. I'm not going to read all this because we're only into page 44 right now. I just can't do it. So we're going to keep pressing on. So Quarterman, don't let us down. Look for Street Fighter 2, the competition edition, to find its way onto other consumer consoles and handheld formats. Even though the editor said that that's not going to happen, or Capcom said that's not going to happen. That's fine. Sources in the know have indicated that rumors are holding the game on both Genesis and Lynx. I don't even know what that word is. Could come true sometime early next year. The Q-Man, of course, will be keep you posted. Q-Man tips his hat to the gaming masters of Nintendo. The master of the rumor mill has locked down info from within the Big N that translates into the big thumbs up for their Super CD-ROM system. Besides boasting a faster processing time, a system cartridge can be upgraded and an expanded DPS processor, the one that gives you the Mode 7 glitter. You now also expect faster access time and little to no slowdown. Well, we know that's not true because this thing didn't really come out at all. Now, whether or not the spinning discs arrive at a $200 price Nintendo has boasted remains to be seen. Speaking of price tags, what's the deal at Capcom? Sure, the Street Fighters were nice enough to get us in the ballpark and announce the Mega Joystick. But what's with the big question mark on the retail cost? Why is Nintendo removing the blood and guts? And how come the release date has been postponed again? A release date has been announced in Japan, as well as the price, around $75. Have you ever heard of mail order? I know the Q fiends have. Wow. That's a lot, and that's all I can do for Quarterman. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. The EGMs are they're getting pretty big. We might have to look at getting co-hosts for every single show. I'm just being honest with you guys. It's a lot. It's a lot. Raj with the $2 and Paulie needs help boiling water over here. Dude, you're looking at me to boil the water? You got to know that I'm not the best at cooking. Thank you for the $2 super chat. says, Dear Jay, sending a special shout out to all the new subscribers and new members to the channel. To celebrate, we hope for a double EGM reading session on this end of the year holidays or near future. Sure. Well, Josh, get in here. I know Dan has offered his services, but any channel members looking who want to co-host, please just send me a message, because I don't want to skip any of this goodness, but the reality is it's just too much. Yeah, Mutron's up. There you go. There you go. Just, you guys got to send me a message, okay? And then we can coordinate from there. For sure. Absolutely. Moving on. We have the first look at the Super Nintendo CD-ROM schematic. Now, this thing, of course, never came out. I think there are a couple prototypes kicking around out there somewhere, perhaps in museums. But this thing was never released. We all know, and you guys know I've beat it into you so many times now, the Phillips story. We're not going to go over that again. But yeah, this thing did not surface. Here's our favorite buddy here. Grab the clutch. Street Fighter 2 joystick nearing completion. May I ask you something, Capcom? Why is it like this? Why? That's not how the arcade looks at all. It's just straight across. Why would they make that break like that? Very odd design choice. Given that everything up until this point has been emulating the arcade. I mean, yeah, I don't really like that design. And I can't remember, did we ever find out if this thing ever came out? Did someone look that up? The actual Capcom Super Nintendo fight controller. I don't remember this thing, and I don't think I've seen this thing. I know there was lots of third-party ones, but did this actual one ever come out? Roger Clemens baseball. No, thank you. Oh my God, there's a lot of stuff. We have one thing to say about Contra 3 for the Super NES. What do you guys think that is? Boom! Contra 3 The Alien Wars, one of the greatest games on the Super Nintendo. It's so good. Was Ash versus Evil console game even a thing, or is it directly into Oblivion? Ash versus the Evil Dead? Is that what you mean, MM? International Outlook. Stuff, again, that we might get here, we might not. Bionic Commando by Capcom on the Game Boy. That's it right here. Well, this is based off of this game here, Ash versus the Evil Dead. It's like a 16-bit side scroller. I played this during Halloween week. You can get it digitally as well. That's the only game that I know that's based off of Ash versus the Evil Dead. There's been plenty of Evil Dead games, but King of Monsters, that was a great Neo Geo game. I remember that one. It's a really fun game. It's out for mostly everything. You can get it digitally if you can't find a physical out there. Neutron says that stream was groovy. Yeah, we're hitting 30 for our numbers. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad people are liking the reads on Sunday. I love Sunday. It's always just a nice chill vibe. Again, anything guys that I'm passing up here, if you want to talk about, I can't get to everything myself. So if there's something you want to talk about, please just call it out in the chat. There you go. Cutthroat says Capcom Fighter Power Stick Super Nintendo inbox. It's an actual Capcom one though. Yeah, maybe I just don't have any memory from it. Neil, I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know. Tricks of the trade we always skip over. Look at this guy. Sammy Snags. A spare. But I like that name, Sammy Snags. Can we make that into a character? Sammy Snags. See ya, Sammy Snags. Flow Floors. Sammy Snags. Oh, I don't know why I think that's so funny. Lack of sleep, perhaps? Maybe. Gus Gags. Oh, is that Newman? Jeez. There's so many tricks this month. Let's go. It did come out. Okay. Dale says, now I can see them making an arcade fight controller from Capcom to go with some Street Fighter. Don't think it's the same as Mortal Kombat. No, the buttons will be laid out differently. And that one was actually made by Capcom. I never liked did you guys like the block button in Mortal Kombat? I always hated that. I like just pressing back. I thought that was back or back down was the perfect control scheme for a fighting game. So I didn't like holding block. Was not my thing. Was not. Man, I wish they had some of these like is this an import store? I wish they still had some of these stores around. Lots of arcade action with Ninja Commando and Sonic Wings. Raj says, Jay, Sammy Snags is on Connie's nephew, didn't you know? What about Gus Gags? Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Ash should come back and hit the big screen once again in a final Evil Dead. Let me ask you, did you watch Evil Dead Rise? What did you think of that? Look at Sammy Snag. He's wearing tube socks, a dress shirt, and yacht shorts. Yeah, buddy. Sammy Snags. Gus Gags. Holy tricks. Half the issue is tricks. Here you go. Here's for all you tech heads out there. Look at this thing. How many different companies made accessories for the Game Boy? This looks like a transformer. Look at this thing. Matt says, I never used the block button in Mortal Kombat. Probably why I didn't play it well. Yeah, you got to block. Street Fighter controls were better. I agree. But I mean, let's do the poll again. We haven't to this point. And it's a little strange to me that we haven't seen Mortal Kombat yet, given that Mortal Kombat comes out in 1992. Especially with EGM, we haven't even seen like a preview. We haven't even heard the name Mortal Kombat yet, so I'm excited. We do this one all the time. But I'm going to put it up anyway because it's always fun. Yeah, this thing's great. Hurl through space. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Looks like a 90s Joe vehicle. Pretty much. It's like Star Brigade rubbish. Actual rubbish. I don't think Mortal Monday was 1992. Don't quote me on that, Neil. I think it was 93. Mortal Kombat still hasn't come out in the arcades yet, and it's 1992. I think Mortal Monday was in 93, I think. You guys have the Googles. 93, yeah. But isn't it strange though that they haven't talked given they haven't talked about Mortal Kombat at all, given the fact that they're previewing like the PlayStation in 1992. It's just weird. Oh, here's our cover story. Turtles in Time, which is the fourth Turtles on a Nintendo console. And like I said at the beginning of the show here, I never knew that this was an arcade game. I didn't know that the original Konami arcade game had a sequel. I thought that this was just a game developed for the Super Nintendo. But there you go. You learn something new every day over here. It's my favorite MK game. Ultimate MK3 or the Mortal Kombat trilogy on PlayStation, because that had everybody and it allowed you to use the bosses too. Who's a fan of this game? Turtles in Time was sick. And the Hyperstone Heist was, again, the way Nintendo was, you couldn't have the same game on multiple consoles. So the Hyperstone Heist was essentially Turtles in Time with just some differences, just different enough that Nintendo wouldn't get upset. Evil Dead Rise is for a new generation. For old fans, Ash should die in a super fantastic last movie with the same original director, Sam Raimi. You think so? Yeah. I haven't seen Ash versus the Evil Dead, like the TV show. I've never seen it. I think it's on Netflix. I just, like I've said before with Evil Dead, I don't like the comedy. So I really actually liked Evil Dead Rise. It's grown on me more. But it got back to like the root of the horror of Evil Dead. But I think Sam Raimi was just a producer on that one. Him and Bruce Campbell were. This is the best Turtles game ever? Yeah. It's certainly a worthy sequel for sure. Oh, Konami at its best. You said it, Raj. You said it. Wings 2 High Aces. This game looks all right. Who makes it? Namco. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. I predict this game will be good. I've still never played it. Hook. The hell out of here. Hook. Give me a break. It's like Waterworld. It's just, why? There'll be some like Virtual Boy Waterworld fan out there that will leave a comment. Waterworld is the best portable game ever. What am I saying? Look at these two. Ninja Gaiden 2, Dark Sword of Chaos, and Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom. I don't know much about Ninja Gaiden 3. I need to get it. Is that from Waterworld? Skyfall? Arcade Fella, thank you very much for the sub. Much appreciated. If you're in the chat, welcome on in to EGM Sundays. Okay, I tried to watch Waterworld about 2-3 years ago. Maybe it was during the pandemic. I tried to watch it, dude. I couldn't even get through it. I got less than halfway through. I'm like, this is rubbish. It was so boring. We're pressing on. The show deserves a special Konami game dedicated episode. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open to do more game stuff. You know, I'm not trying to put out React content, as I don't really want to flood my channel with that stuff. Although I like doing that with you guys. I certainly love doing the top 10 lists on websites and stuff like that, but I don't know. There's nothing wrong with React content. There isn't. I mean, you can do it. I don't know. I still want a channel full of it. Look at this poor soul. JP says, I got Waterworld on VHS. It's not that good of a movie. The most expensive movie ever. Yeah. I found it really boring, and I found the characters really boring. There's a Kid Chameleon ad for you. That is beautiful. I would like to have that as a poster. That's pretty sick. All the different little hats that you can wear. Oh, it's from TMNT. Gotcha. Well, anyway, that was my Waterworld take. Uh-oh. Bad news for Turbo fans. The TurboGrafx 16 CD player is down to 149. We have good news. And we have good news. 4 games free when you buy the Turbo Express. That's not good. We're getting down there. For 1994 was the very last year for the TurboGrafx, known as the Turbo Duo by then. But we're not there yet. I'm still rooting for you, Turbo. Still rooting for you. We got a Neo Geo buyer's guide right smack dab in the middle of this issue of EGM. How many of you in the chat right now have a Neo Geo system? Any of them? The Neo Geo Cart, the Neo Geo CD, Neo Geo Pocket, or the re-release portable that came out in the mid-2000s? Who has a Neo Geo system? What does that 1800 screens mean? This here? Which page was it? I think the ad with a skateboard. Over 1800 screens. Well, it would be, I'm guessing, the way the ratio is for these old school TVs. I'm guessing those are screen lengths, I think. So they're boasting about, I guess, how big the game is. I think. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Sammy Snags had 2 Neo Geos at his dad's lake house. He was always bragging about it. Gary Gags used to come and see him too. We have children's humor. That's fine. Jay putting up a poll asking between Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. There's no both option. Forgot Killer Instinct. There is no both option, my friend, because it's fun to torture ourselves. You got to have just one or the other. That makes you really think. There's no option for both because everyone would pick that, right? This is like, you can only pick one. This is the way Chad and I used to do verses. It used to be one toy versus the other. So we'd have like 84 Duke versus like 83 Cobra Commander carded, and you could only pick one. So if you picked Duke, then you could never have Cobra Commander ever again. So it really, really made you think, right? It's fun too. We're just going a little bit past the Neo Geo. Shout out to the Neo Geo. I love it. I love it. This is a little insert. And I think that if this system was just a little bit cheaper, it would have been a real contender back in the day. I really, truly believe that. Because there's some fantastic games that still hold up today on this system. It was just so much money. And to go a step even further, the Neo Geo CD was astronomically expensive too, and the load times were atrocious. Who remembers the Neo Geo CD? Nobody. Look at this guy. What's he want? Baseball Stars 2. Used to have it. Great game. Great game. Oh, there you go. Who wants a bigger, badder, better shirt? I have a feeling Cutthroat would wear this shirt. Bigger, badder, better. And have that like dog, right? The Neo Geo logo on the back. I did not. I didn't abandon verses. I'm trying to figure out where to fit it in our schedule. Because truth be told, making the videos is taking up more time and they're very important. So to do streams and then to take a break and then come back at 7 at night, it's not working for me in my family environment. And I know Chad kind of feels the same too. He wants to spend more time. So we're trying to figure out where to put it. It's not that it's disappeared. We still want to do verses. It's just where it makes sense to do it. Friday nights is just getting harder and harder to do unless we do it at like 5 o'clock, but that's not really fair to people. Do you know what I mean? So that's why it's been absent. Well, we got sick for a while, and then I kind of needed to just take a break. Average Gamer says, okay, so then we'll do Mortal Kombat for just the fatalities. Do I still have a Saturn? Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna get it. It's over here. Yeah, I used to have back in the day, I used to have a Japanese one. There she is. Look how shiny it is. I shine these things once a week like they're a friggin' 65 Mustang. Look at this baby. Yeah. There's your Saturn right there, bud. The Japanese one was cool because it was like a brownie color and the buttons on it were blue. I used to love when the Japanese version of the system was different because I used to like to collect the international ones, right? Just because they were different. She's the Beauty Clark. Thanks, buddy. Not trying to tell you all your business, Jay Marley, but Versus is probably my favorite YouTube stream. Just throwing it out there. I appreciate that. I do. And I'm letting you know that Versus is not going anywhere. Okay. I have to figure out a time. I have to figure out a time that makes sense for both Chad and I. But the Friday nights is becoming more problematic on my side. So it's gonna come back. I just gotta figure out where I'm gonna put it. Doing a versus in the daytime is not gonna work. So I don't know. We'll figure it out, buddy. Don't you worry. It's not going anywhere. If I wasn't gonna do it anymore, I would have told you guys. Did you ever play Oregon Trail? Sadly, I never have. Skyfall says, play the G.I. Joe card game yesterday. I laughed when I saw a card called His Tank Attack. Right? Because it's a tank. It's a tank. I disagree with old Chad there. It's called a His Tank. The funniest part about all that was when he's like, well, Hawk says it in the cartoon. That's the only time. It's like, well, I'm sure General Hawk knows if it's a tank or not. Is that Wooderson? Rick Nelson. Oh my God, didn't he go on to make Twitter? Matthew Cutshall and Rob Faber. These are quotes. Oh, these are quotes from these guys. I'm really happy that I won the Neo Geo Gold system. I can't wait to play it. And old Wooderson says, all right. I know my son and I will have a lot of good times with the Neo Geo system. And then Rob Fader says, well, I'm very lucky to be one of the Neo Geo system winners. Obviously, these were not wrote by these people. Oh, I know. It's all in good fun. I know he doesn't believe it's an actual tank. It's all just in good fun. Here we go. You want to go. So then why on the G.I. Joe trading card game, Skyfall, you brought it up. You take responsibility, you son of a lips. Why is it called the His Tank? If it's not a tank, why is it called a tank in G.I. Joe? I'm just saying. The USS Flag aircraft carrier. It's not an aircraft carrier. What? What? Whoa. Whoa. What is this? Bonk 4, the role-playing game. What the hell is Bonk 4, the role-playing game? Once again, the Q-Man's predictions have come true. Bonk the RPG is on the way to the U.S. shores. The relatives of King Drool are at it again. This time, you start your quest with a little blue dino that needs to help find the legendary hero Bonk. First, you will need to find him over the vast landscape. Man, what? This didn't come out. Look at this, guys. This is sick. All right, let's address this. Because General Hawk said it in the cartoon. Correct. My point to that, and this is what I've said to Chad, is that if General Hawk, who's a general in G.I. Joe, calls it a HISS tank, I'm pretty sure General Hawk would know the classification of that vehicle. That's all I'm saying. And I think there's something to be said too for it being called, people calling it a HISS tank all these years, right? Can anyone take a minute to thank Den of Geek? His avatar just corrected the timeline. Now everything after Endgame never happened. Can Mutron, can you somehow get Den of Geek's avatar to make the George Lucas merger with Disney not ever happen? Dude, that would be like the sickest trick of all. $2 donation from Raj. Here's to seeing Versus again sometime, anytime. I promise you, it's not going anywhere, buddy. We just got to figure out a time slot. That's it. And again, I'll say it just one last time. If we didn't want to do it anymore, we would have told. We would have said something to you guys, okay? So not to worry. G.I. Joe is so awesome. It finds its way into every conversation. Does nobody give a lips about the Bonk RPG game? Am I the only one who just holds that torch for Bonk? Come on, Bonk, make a comeback. We need Bonk 64. Nobody cares. Dan cares with the gifted. One gifted Jay Bartlett membership goes to Darth Wizzy Wizard, big toy fan and Star Wars guy. Welcome back to the dark side. Appreciate that, Dan. Much love, buddy. No, that's what I mean, right? This blew me away because we had Bonk 1, 2, and we had Bonk 3. And then we had Air Zonk, which is like a spin-off. But I don't believe, unless this is Bonk 3, but I don't think this is. This never came out. Okay, I'm writing this down because I want to do research on this. Let's just call it Bonk 4 RPG. Okay, I'm going to check this out after. Oh, Puka Ninja, what's up, mate? You remember? Yeah, it was never released. Yeah, I don't think I remember ever seeing this. Just once? Like, is this like the only images of this game? I'm a huge Bonks fan. I love the character. So for me, this is pretty cool. Maybe there's like someone's uploaded like the alpha somewhere. I don't know. You never know. You never know. Okay. Excuse me. Here's a way to take Sonic wherever you go. Barcelona 92. Do you ever notice that like all the games based off the Olympics are terrible? Did you guys notice that? HGC loves Sonic. He just said so in the chat. Look. Yeah, that's a big tease. Link's Casino. There's this thing. Remember this thing from last time? Game Mate. This made it onto my to get list for when I'm game hunting because this thing looks absolutely awful. You want a Game Boy for Christmas? Well, too bad, kid. You're getting a Game Mate with Brick Blaster, Mini Golf, Vindicators, and the Game of the Year, Cube. Oh. Let's watch the G.I. Joe animated movie. We've watched The Wizard so far. So if you are a channel member, you do get access to our private Discord. We have watched The Wizard together. And then Will and I did a live stream about it. So if you want to become a channel member, we'll get you that Discord info. You can jump in there. we got to come up with our next Discord hangout as well, which should be very soon. Transformers the movie 86 viewing, and I'll actually join the Discord. Okay, so channel members, after this stream, okay, I'm going to put my Discord name under the community tab, so you'll see it there. Just add me, and then we'll get you into the Discord. And HGC says this is not a threat. Yeah, Matt can set up the Joe movie. I love that movie, man. I love it. There we go. We skipped through a large portion of that. Not a large portion, but we didn't read over everything. But shout out again to Retro Mags. Made with love by Retro Mags, preserving video game history. Thank you so much. Guys, make sure you check out Retro Mags. Give them some support over there. Jay, I know you're currently in 1992, EGM 35, but fun fact here, in 1986, Haley's Comet was all over the place. TV news. If you were a fan of Kiss, Ace Frehley had a band named after that called Frehley's Comet. Fun fact. Fun fact. Today is National Saturn Day. Anyone, if you have a Saturn at home, make sure you give it some love. Thanks to EGM for reminding us that this guy here, it needs love too. Okay? It does. It might have been outshined by the PlayStation, but guess what? It's still a good system. So shout out to the Sega Saturn, released in May 1995 in North America here. Mutron with the $4.99 super chat. If you watch Superman the movie closely, you'll see it was in fact Den's avatar that reversed the world. Superman was just a bystander and he didn't know. If you guys want, I got a little bit of free time. If you want to pop in the Discord after the live stream, we can do that. Just hang out for a little bit. If you want to do that, guys, I'm up for that. So I'll pop in the what is it? The audio tab. Let me see. What's it called again? Just under voice channels, there's community members hangout. I'll pop in there after. If you guys want to come hang out and chat for a little bit, we can do that. And if nobody shows up, then the hell with you. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with little old me and all the support, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the super chats, the new memberships. You guys are the absolute best. Ryu, he's going to join us too if you guys don't mind. Ryu's coming as well. So I'll meet channel members in the Discord right after this. I'm just going to maybe I will grab another coffee. Maybe. And we'll see you guys then. If not, streaming schedule is a little bit different because Will, JP, and myself are heading to the Toronto Video Game Expo Saturday. There won't be a Saturday stream, but I'm making it up to you guys by streaming this Tuesday and this Wednesday, okay? So we're going to have a full week of great games coming, and we're going to have a good time. You guys are the absolute best. Butters, goodbye, my friend. And thank you for hanging out as always. Congratulations to Street Fighter 2 who won the poll. All right, guys, we're out of here. Have yourselves an absolutely awesome day, and I'll see some of you in the Discord.